Hey Cabbers, George here, back in the man cave, going through my up next box. These three, made in the USA. They need some living. Let's check them out. So these are the three knives. And you can see they all kinda have something in common, and that's the handle style, right? Well, there's something else they have in common. Let me show you. We got this guy, yep, toothpick, long clip, single blade. It's a fish knife. See that? Nice handle. Has that fake wood look to it. Big bolsters. Nickel silver probably. Little dirty. Look at the blade. Needs some love. In pretty good condition though. Wondering who it's made by? Well, these guys. Yep. USA. Then we have this guy. See that? Very similar. Same style of handle, a little lighter, the bolsters, and this guy has two blades. You got a long clip and you got a pen blade here. You got a nice little badge on it there. Very cool. Who made it? Yep, same guys. USA. Wow. Wonder what this guy has. Same handle, you see that? Long clip, pen blade, and a badge. It's a little different, and yep, it's made by the same guys. USA. So that's what they have in common. They look and the tang stamp all say USA. And if you look at those tang stamps, pretty similar, right? I mean, you can't really change it up that much, but they look pretty familiar. Between the three of them, looks like the same stamp, right? Well, I don't know. And who made these guys? Well, your guess is as good as mine. If you can tell, or you know how to tell, let me know in the description below. I need help. All I know, they're from the good old USA. Let's clean them up. So here we have all three of them here. And as you can see, you got this fish knife. It's really just a pretty large California clip single blade pocket knife. Single blade jack, except they say it's a fish knife. Now, you've seen all the fish knives we deal with. This, I would say, is just not really so much a fish knife as a hunting, fishing kind of thing, carry in your pocket jackknife. It doesn't have any of the extras you would expect on a fish knife. Needs a little bit of cleanup. The blades are in pretty good condition. There's a little bit of rust and marking on the blades. You can see it there. Nice big long clip. Not really sharp, in fact pretty dull. And the inside, the typical inside the well, kind of iffy. Got to clean that up. And then I want to clean up the handles and make them look a little bit cleaner. Polish everything up. And we'll have a really solid addition to my USA tang stamp knives. You got two little jacks here, and when I first saw them I thought they were the same until I put them together. About the same size, except you can see here the badges are different. This is more of a shield. I want to say, I call this a bow tie style. But they both have the same, very similar blades. You got your pen blade and your clips, that sweeping clip, a California style. Handle's not quite the same. These two handles are a little bit closer. So this one's a little different because it has that jigged bone look, whereas these are meant to be a more, not so much bone, but maybe bark, tree, that sort of thing look. But all the same sort of colors and style. I really like these three. And these two just need a good cleanup. You know, I'll start off with 1000 grit. We'll clean up the wells, the bolsters and everything. And then we'll go to 10,000 and then polish them with mothers. And we'll see if we can bring the handles out a little bit more as well. So let's do that. We'll start with the big guy. So here I actually have some 12 to 1500. For some reason I can't seem to find the 1000 anymore. But you know what, 12 to 1500 works just as well. Remember, you always want to support your blade. You don't want to put too much pressure on the bolster. Don't do it like that because you'll be pushing down on it. You start stretching things and stuff. You really don't have to press hard. You just need to be consistent and you'll get a nice shine even with this before you go down to like 10,000 or mothers. So we got to get rid of all this stuff here. And I'm just going to follow. I found that the length of the blade going that way is the best way to do it on most of the knives. So it's just a little bit of elbow grease. Now, when you start doing this, if there's any rust on a blade, you're never going to get rid of it if it's really thick rust, because it's probably pitted the blade. Now, some people want to make them perfectly clean again. Not a good idea, because if you're going in that much on both sides, you're really reducing a lot of steel off the blade. Not a big fan of that. I'll go until at least it looks shiny and clean, and you've got rid of most of the rough stuff of the rust, and it's really just the pitting left. You try and get rid of that pitting, you're going to damage the blade. So just take your time on it, and all you want is a nice shine. Careful of that tip. I found if you do this, you're not going to catch. So here you can see I've done the blade. Now, it's a lot shinier. It's not perfect because you've got the pitting in that. And let me see if I can get it in nice and close to show you what I'm talking about. Right there. See where that shiny bit towards the tip is? There's a lot of pitting there. You're never going to get rid of it. Can you see it there? But if the majority of the blade shines, you tend not to notice it as much. And that's just me. Now we got to do the rest, which means the bolsters, the springs on the back here along the ridge. This bolster, it's a nice big one, you want that nice and shiny, and of course the badge and the handle. Now the well here, there's a couple of ways to do it. If it's really bad, I will dip it, and if I dip it, this is a clamshell, I would take the clamshells off and then go dip it and come back. And I'm actually thinking about that right now, and I'm wondering if I want to do that. Now, if you watched my videos before, these are the two main things I use when dealing with clamshells. A little small flat screwdriver and a ice pick. Nice small one. Nothing fancy about it. You just want a solid pick. Doesn't have to be sharp. In fact, probably better if it's not. And you can see it's slightly tapered. This I used when I put them back on. Clamshells now. Two things you need to know. The clips of clamshells are delicate, okay? You can't keep opening and closing them. Just like anything, they will eventually break off. Here's the first two right here on the end. And as you can see, you basically have no access to them. You can't get to those. You have to start this side, take these clips and open them because you have access to them. You can see it there. And then you can lift it and slide it down towards these ones, which these will pop out and you can lift it off. Just got to be really careful with these clips. There's a lot of ways you can be careful, and that is, it's steel, and steel is kind of brittle. You keep bending it, it's going to eventually break off. But if you heat it, you give it a little bit more flexibility. Now I just have a little heat gun that I use for when I'm changing handles and doing that sort of stuff, to heat stuff, and that's what I use. I'll just heat them up and give me a better chance of not breaking them. This is the heat gun I have. Nothing special about it. Got it on Amazon. You know, you have a choice of 10,000 of them on there. This one looked okay to me. The reviews were pretty good. Nothing fancy, 2-speed, and I can't even remember what heat it goes to. But it works for me. Like I said, the main reason I got it was putting vinyl handles on knives when I was replacing them, and works perfect for that. Has a little stand on it. Just set it like this, plug her in. You've got 2 speeds. Low speed is all you need for me. That's it. All I'm going to do is heat this side up here where the clips are. You don't have to get it red hot because you're going to be touching it, but you want to get it nice and warm. And here you can see the clip, and what I'm going to try and do, this happens to be the perfect size, and it fits in there, and all you're trying to do is just catch onto that clip and lift it. You want to go slow, and I can't see a thing. Let me try the other side. Patience is everything. Don't rush it, you will break it. Ugh. You know what? I don't think I want to take these off. They are in there really well. That's the first time for me that I couldn't get them out. And I'm worried that if I do, I'm going to break them. I've really scratched them up a lot already, so I'm not going to do it. Maybe. Unfortunately, these little ones, although they are the clamshell style, you can see there's no clips here. Interesting. Now I need to have a look if I can see if they go all the way through into the liners. But I suspect, yeah, they do. Wow. Let me see if I can show you this. Let me bring some light on the subject here. The clips are in here, right there, right at the bottom in the middle here. Very interesting. So what you would do is the same process. You would unclip this side, pull it off, slide that one out, and then you would put them back the same way. You wouldn't touch this clip, you would put it in, make sure it's in there tight, push this one in, and bend it over. This one doesn't really need a clean because it's pretty clean. I can get that with sandpaper. Is this the same? Huh. They did the same thing on this one. This one's different because you can see they have the center liner there splitting the blades. That is so interesting. I'm going to have to find out more about that. How do you do that? Anyway, totally distracted there. Let's get this guy done. Like I said, I'm not feeling too comfortable about getting that off. I'm worried about damaging it. So we'll carry on cleaning it up. The real difference is obviously you can't get underneath the bolsters here to clean and that sort of thing. It just gives you a little bit more access. Not a big deal. You won't really notice it. So let's carry on cleaning this guy up. So now we're going to carry on. We're going to do the bolsters and that, and then the wells. Now I've found that doing the bolsters this way gives you a better shine for some reason than that way. Not quite sure why, or if it's just me. Well, we'll find out, right? So I went this way. On this one, I'm going to go that way. You tell me if there's a difference. Let me do that. There's that. And then that. Is it me? I don't know. I just prefer this way because I don't like to rub on the handles, and this gives me better control. You can see it doesn't take a lot. When you start doing this part here, the spine of the spring, you got to be careful of your handle. This can be pretty soft and easily wear away. Also, if you go fast, it tends to melt. So you got to be careful of that, and you just want to go slowly and try not to rub on the handles too much. Up here, fairly easy to do. All it does is take a little bit of patience. So there you are there. And you saw I just hold it at an angle and just, you got to be patient. Same thing here. Now it's a little easier here because you can angle it in to the well and just do one side at a time. So you go that way and then turn it around and that way. As always, be careful. I told you this is not very sharp, but it is sharp enough. So I think I'm gonna tape over it just for safety, because when I do the well, I'm gonna be going back and forth following that blade. Now when I do the well, a lot of the wells are different sizes. For example, on this guy, they're both fairly wide, okay? But on this guy, you've got a liner down the middle, which makes it a little bit harder, and I'll show you how I do that one. Favorite tool here. Let me see if I can do it this way on this. I don't think it's wide enough, but let's see. I can press in like that. So as you saw, it's really tight in there, and sometimes when you do that, you start pushing the liners apart. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to use some regular sandpaper. This is 2000 grit, and all I'm going to do is double it over and over and over until I get a nice fit in there, where when I run this down like this, it's rubbing both sides at the same time. And you can just go back and forth with it like this, and if you can get deep enough, you can even get to the bottom of the well. And like, it just takes a little bit of persistence. Sometimes. This has the clips on the inside as well, plus these. Wow. They really went overboard on this. Well, not overboard. I like that idea. Basically, they've got those clips on the inside, which are in the liners. When I was cleaning it out there, I was catching on them. Be careful of that. I didn't realize that. You see there? You don't want to catch it and bend it, because when you close your blade, it's going to catch on it. So be careful of that. That's another first for me. Huh! Look at me, all learning stuff and whatnot. So now we got the well cleaned up fairly good. It's nice and shiny in there. You can see into it. It doesn't look like there's any rust or anything. That was so interesting. Huh! Learning every time. Same thing again with this. I like to just go that way. It's a personal preference. Does it make a difference? I'm not sure. You're really using this 1000 or 1200 or whatever to get rid of the small stuff and any light scratching. You don't have to do it for a long time, because we're going to go to 10,000 to do the shining and then mothers. By that stage we should be good. You're just cleaning the rough stuff up, the worst of it. So you don't have to spend all day doing this with the 1000. You're just getting an initial shine and getting rid of those little scratches and whatnot. And you can see it doesn't take much. Now I'm going to go to 10,000. Just going to go over this now with 10,000 to see how it does, and the rest of it, of course. I just don't want to take too much off the handle, so I'm going to go with 10,000 and see how it does, and of course we're going to polish everything. So with the 10,000, obviously it doesn't have any foam backing. Ideally you want to get a flat something. I just like to use this wood. It's the same thing I use to support. When you do the blade, I will use this, but on this curved stuff and that, it's just so much quicker. Fold it up and just go over it. And it's a weird feeling. You feel like you're just rubbing a piece of paper on this, but after a while you will notice it start to really shine. And you can see it really brings out the shine here. See that? Good prep, and then you go to a polish like mothers. I use mothers, whatever you want to use. Just remember that if you're going to be using this for food prep or anything like that, don't go to a polish. That stuff's nasty. Now we're onto the blade, and I have the 10,000 on a piece of wood, making it reasonably flat, and we're off to the races again. And you can see it's starting to shine up nicely. I'll just keep at it. Do the other side, then it's all done, and then we will do some mothers. And here you can see now it's really picking up a shine. So we're good there. So it's just mothers to go, and I think I'm going to use mothers on here. I did go over this with 10,000, just gave it a quick rub. You've got to be careful once again, the sandpaper, if you do it too long, this, I don't know what this material is, I'm not sure what this kind is, but it tends, if you overheat it, it gets sticky and you can really mess it up, so be aware of that. So there you are. The boss stopped in for a snack while I had my lunch, and of course you'll do a safety walk. What you doing? Huh? Are you checking safety? Are we all good? That's the heater, you know that. You've got to be careful around that. So like I said, with mothers, you don't need a lot. You just dab it on back and forth. And it'll give you a nice, more consistent shine. And you can see it takes off a very fine coat. And now, whoops, I need light to show you this. Now you can see how consistent the shine is. It's a lot more consistent, and that's what polish does. The downside is, if you're going to use this for eatering, you got to wash it off. Soap and warm water will take it off. Just make sure you do that. If you're going to be using for food, I don't recommend doing this. But this is going into my collection, so there's that. But like I said, you can always wash it off when you decide to use it. But it gives a very nice, even coat shine. It's fairly inexpensive. This has lasted me quite a while. Some people like to use Never-Dull. This is pretty bad. You don't want to be eating this stuff. Never-Dull is even worse, so be aware when you use products what the potential problems are. So there you go. That's just the blade. You can see I went over it pretty quickly, and look at the difference. It really does bring it out nicely. I'm going to carry on with the rest. I can even do this part, and like I said, as before, even more so with mothers, if you rub really hard and fast, it gets hot, so be aware of that. And there you are there. Look at that shine. And it doesn't take that much work. On to the other ones now. So here's this guy. And you can see they shine up very nice. And you know it doesn't take a lot. So that guy's done. So is this guy. Now this guy. So there you are. My USA made fish knife. A very quick shine and sharp. And as you can see, it really doesn't take much to make them shine. And it's very rewarding. Now, all of these knives, I believe, came from vintage stores, antique shopping, or garage sales, or flea markets. I think between the three of these, the price range probably from $3 to about $8. So probably this one or this one in the $3 to $5 range. Okay. And this one about 8 to 10. Now, you can't beat that price. They're in good condition. You just need to clean and sharpen them. As you saw, that's fairly straightforward. It doesn't take a lot. You can get a lot more involved. Like I said, taking off the shells and cleaning them and dipping them in anti-rust and rust remover and this and that. And that certainly will give you a slightly better result, but not much. You know, if it's really bad, and typically in the wells, that's where you're concerned with, then you got to dip it. This guy, like I showed you, I was going to take it apart. It didn't really need it. But then when I started looking at trying to get underneath these clips, got a little nervous there. Couldn't hook them. And looking at it, I've never seen clips like this. They're almost, I want to say, perfect, because you can't get it. And not only that, came to discover that there was another clip up here. So I learned something today. Not all clamshells are clamshells like we expect. So there you go. These two guys really worked out well. Shiny now and sharp. This guy was in pretty good condition. Now, I wanted to show you this. You see this a lot sometimes. It's not a mistake. It's not somebody who's messed up the blade. But if you look here, you can see the ricasso and the distinct line down there. Okay, and there, just above the tang stem. You see what I'm talking about? It's like it's ground out. No such thing on the other side. How do you sharpen it? One side. You make sure this is flat, and then you just have one edge to sharpen. Or you can just sharpen it. It's not going to make any difference. You can sharpen both edges. You're still putting an edge on it. And this just is flat, and it has no ricasso shape to it. Not a big deal. And as you saw, mothers can clean these up really nicely. All of them have really good snap. Good thing. This guy was a little bit worse for wear, and when I was cleaning it, I noticed that somebody had already done it, because it must have been really rusted, because look at the pitting on this guy. See it? There's a lot. So it had been cleaned before, so there's that. And of course the badges and all that good stuff. Very cool little knives. These two blade jacks are very common. This type of handle, the material's pretty common. You see a lot of these like that with just that, I forget what they call it. It's just like that film, very thin, almost like a vinyl, that breaks all the time. You see a lot of it on Hammer brand, that sort of thing. With age, it gets brittle and they chip and that. But this stuff is a little bit more heavy duty. And like you saw, it's not your usual clamshell, because it doesn't have the clips on the ends. The clips are inside. And one day I'll show you that. I'll find a real banger the way I'm going to take it apart, and I'll show you. But basically you've got two hooks like that, and the line is here, and the hooks are in a hole. And the one's already bent, so you put it in, pull it tight, The other one is straight. You put that in the hole and you bend it over, and there it is onto the liner. That's how they work. So here you are. For you USA knife maker guys, 3 knives, USA. Doesn't necessarily have to say Camelus, Imperial, Hammer Brand, Colonial, Frost, Queen. They're made in the USA. You just don't know by who. And to tell you the truth, it's probably one of those guys I just mentioned. You know, they made them for other people, and all they had to do legally was say USA on it, which gives the country of manufacturer. So that's actually a requirement. This is actually a very nice little fish knife, and it does have a half stop and a good snap. You see it there. So, and I sharpened it, and it sharpened very nice, so be aware. You be safe with these things. Sharpening them, cleaning them. Always check the blades before you start cleaning, because if they're already sharp, you need to tape them, and be aware of that, because you'll be polishing away, and yeah, not good. I've never done that much. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. I've got my up next box of projects, and there's a bunch. I just got to figure out which ones I want to do first. When you're out there antiquing or whatever you're doing, garage sailing, look for these guys. They can be rewarding, and they make nice collections. And you know what? When you're out fishing or working or whatever, these little guys come in handy. And you know what? If it breaks, $3 and a little bit of time. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.